This video looks at English Language Unit 2, Section A, and focusing on question A2. Okay, now read the article South Africa's Animal Rescue by Britt Collins in the separate resource material. How does Britt Collins try to show that the Shamwari Reserve is an important force for good? You must use evidence from the text to support your answer. We've already talked in previous videos that you should spend 15 minutes on this particular question. The first thing that you need to do is to ensure that you're looking at the correct text. So in this case, it's article South Africa's Animal Rescue. Then if we focus in on the actual question, this question wants you to look at the writer's techniques as well as content, with the use of the word how. We also know that we're looking at Britt Collins, so we're looking at the writer's perspective. You also need to make sure that you identify what the focus of the question is, and in this case it's the Shamwari Reserve. And then if you look at the quotation in the question, it tells you that you're looking for positive things about the reserve. It gives you the overview. Again, as in the previous question for A1, you must use evidence from the text to support your answer. And it would be a good idea at this point to pause the video and to read through the separate resource material so that you can put the questions and the exemplar material into context. So if we have a look at a beginning of an answer to A2, so you've got a model here of how you should approach it. The positive tone is set at the start of the article when Collins tells us that the reserve helps rescued animals recover from ill treatment, showing the contrast between their treatment before and now when at Shamwari. The animals are free to roam around the reserve and humans have to adapt to let them pass undisturbed. It is very much a refuge for the wildlife. The emotive language used in relation to the animals, such as mistreated and orphaned, allows the reader to see their need and how positive the work of the reserve is. Collins then suggests that it's good for the people involved as well, and immerses volunteers in terms of their own skills and education, helping vets, monitoring predators, and learning practical maintenance skills. So what you should do now is to give yourself 10 minutes to track through the rest of the extract and identify as many points as you can to complete the answer. It isn't an exact science, but it would be a good idea perhaps to pick up on 8 to 10 various different points within the extract. And what you should do is follow this model where you're making points, finding the evidence, and then going on to explain what the evidence tells you and relating it back to the question. And if we have a look here at the banding for this particular question, remember that 5 to 7 is your C grade, roughly. So, according to quality to those who make valid comments based on the selection of appropriate detail from the text, these answers will probably rely on spotting factual content, but better answers, so moving into B grade, will be relevant, cohesive and selective. If we look at 8 to 10 marks, which is your A to A star, according to quality to those who explore the text in detail, make valid comments and inferences, the best answers should combine specific detail with overview and show understanding of authorial methods and/or language and structure. So at this point you should pause the video and have a look at some of the points that could have been raised. See if they match up with the ideas that you picked out as you went through. And here's an example of how to respond to this particular question. And finally, another example which is a better example. Britt Collins shows that Shamwari Reserve is an important force for good, through contrast between what the animals' lives used to be like and what it's like now. So you've got that overview. The animals that have been mistreated are resettled. Life for the animals is better at Shamwari Reserve, according to Britt Collins. Collins refers to the reserve as one of South Africa's last great wilderness areas. Collins explains how it immerses volunteers where they can do everything. The fact that they use volunteers shows that the main source of income is being used to make it a better place. The traumatised animals are kept safe by armed units from poachers. So if we ask ourselves why this is a better example, it's tracking through, it's giving an overview. We've got this nice use of these shorter quotations. We've also got the use of embedded quotations as well as the point evidence explanation model, which is obviously going to enable you to hit the higher bands and the higher grades.